Good afternoon and welcome to Padre's Ponderings.
Hello, hello, hello. Beautiful day in the low country. A little warmish out there now, starting to, August is coming. This past Sunday, I was here at the chapel. Two families as they were leaving saying, we'll see you in October.
Oh, I talked to somebody this morning who was,
Yes.
they're heading out on Monday.
Heading out, yep.
See you in October.
See you in October. When time we get into July and August, nobody but the hardy will be here. All the cowards will have fled. They will have fled. Yeah, there were maybe more than two here on Sunday that did that. Two families doing that. Leaving out, going north. And that's, praise God. Praise God.
It was a beautiful day though. We were both at a funeral on the historic campus
Yep.
For Conrad Whitley.
Under the cedars there, and a little breeze blowing, and spring tide covering up the marsh out there, and the flotsam everywhere being lifted up and resituated amongst the reeds when the tide goes down. And, yeah, Conrad was a special guy. He was here a long time, devout leader of Bible studies and Stephen minister, and a very special guy.
I was thinking about it.
Oh, sure. I mean, he did a lot of things.
He did on the way back, and just that whole when you're in any type of ministry, that whole circle of life. He was at every single baptism for your grandchildren, and took the photographs.
Yep.
So we all have pictures in our house from him, and very talented man, very creative too.
Yeah, just as I look at the columbarium that are from plaques out there, there's a lot of his contemporaries are there now. A lot happening. So,
yeah,
but praise God for that.
he was a Stephen minister as well. So Stephen Ministry did the reception afterwards in the parish hall, which was really nice.
He had that compassion. He had a great ability to listen and engage on most any topic. Did you know that he went through Parris Island?
No.
As a Marine recruit?
I did not know he was a Marine.
He was back as a DI as well. Yep. He'd been around a few years.
Yeah. The bell tolled 86 times.
Yeah.
So is that how because he's from North Carolina, is that how he ended up here, was Parris Island?
I'm not sure about that, because they were up north before. They came here from Virginia. And I don't know if that might have been his last assignment with the military bases up there, or he could have been working in some government-related business or something, but ended up down here, maybe because as a military man, there's so many veterans in the area and veterans benefits and hospitals and all those kinds of resources that are there for him. But he and Martha were here when I came. So, special folks. A lot of special folks.
Yeah, Pastor Jonathan did the service. It was very nice.
Yeah. So what's coming up? Anything happening with you? One chick's home from college.
I have one home from college, and the other one's going to breeze in for a very short amount of time, in a couple of weeks. What's coming up? Getting ready to put something new on the calendar.
What is that?
Probably this afternoon or tomorrow. Wednesday nights this summer, we're going to be having discipleship at Cross Schools in the gym with dinner, and Pastor Nathan's going to be leading, and it's for all ages. So kind of like we did, 3 years ago, I guess, before COVID. We had everybody on Wednesday nights to gather together, and so everybody's going to be involved.
That's the Wednesday nights in July.
Starting in July, yes.
But 4 Wednesday nights,
Six.
Maybe 6 Wednesday nights, okay. Great.
Yeah.
And Nathan will do a great
looking
job
forward
with
to
that.
that.
And Lauren will probably be involved with it too, and
Yeah.
Ezra, and lots of little children.
Youth, Pastor Tim, Tim will be involved with that, and Mike Lamb with the children's ministry. So there'll be something for every age.
Now that's July.
Which is exciting. That'll be in July.
Vacation Bible School.
Vacation Bible School's in June. That's our big thing in June.
We still need volunteers for that?
We always need volunteers for that. And,
300 children, you got to have a few adults.
You do.
That'll be very special.
And
for
little
that.
people.
And little
That's always fun. It's exhausting, But it's fun. But it's
But
only
it's like
4
nice.
hours.
It's
3
what,
hours a day.
9 to 12,
9 to 12.
4 days.
4 days.
Anybody can do that.
12 total hours.
12 hours. And if you can't do all 12, you could do.
If you can only come
3 or-
one day,
yeah.
then that is great.
So that means there's no excuses.
That's
Unless you don't like children. If you don't like children.
well,
this
if you
is
don't
not
like
for
children, you can help with the snacks. There are
Whoa.
things for literally everyone.
Whoa.
You can take pictures.
Taking away all excuses.
I mean, there are so many possibilities.
Yeah, if you can move around,
Registration.
you can make a difference. That's wonderful. I'm glad that you removed all the hiding places.
Yes, we did.
No excuses,
No excuses. Everybody can do it. Maybe we'll see you walking down the hallway.
perhaps.
Perhaps.
Perhaps. It gets pretty crowded over there with all those little people.
And they're wrapping up. This is the last full week of school, I think. Next week, a couple of half days. So it's kind of hard to believe that,
Because Memorial Day's coming.
yeah, that the school year's already kind of wrapping up.
Everywhere. And your mother was telling me that Memorial Day is even earlier next year. It's
Oh.
like the 27th or 28th of May. So that means the college students will be getting out probably the end of April or something. They get out
I don't know.
2 or 3 weeks before Memorial Day. That first week in May, something like that. So it's getting smashed up like that. So maybe the children will be getting out of school a few days earlier too, but they're starting earlier. So
Right.
they get the same number of days. It's arranged a little bit different. Yeah. Yeah. Got worship attendance is continuing to sneak on up. Looking forward to having some Charlie coming on board.
Yes, we have some new staff members coming on this summer, so really excited about. They'll have to sit here and have a conversation with you at some point.
And Charlie comes in pretty early, doesn't he? In June.
Second week in June, I believe.
Second week in
yeah.
June. So we'll have Charlie Fiddler here.
He's going to be helping with tech, which is a tremendous blessing. Our faith formation people that are coming in to help with cross schools will be coming in at the end of the summer. So lots of new faces are going to be around, which is a great thing.
Yep. Yep.
And you've got Wednesday night teaching tomorrow night. This is the last
The last one.
on Moses. And we had a conversation last night. You're going to probably have to do a couple more later.
Yeah, because I'm just in the third. I'm in the
We're in
third chapter.
You get to the fourth chapter, I think. Beginning of the fourth
Yeah,
chapter.
yeah, where the burning bush, and he says goodbye to Jethro, and then that's where we'll stop this time. And then next time I teach, I'll pick it up there, and we'll go into Egypt and have the plagues, and then come to Sinai and the law and the golden calf and all those things that take place. Those events right there will take 4 weeks. That'll probably be the next teaching. We'll, can't get much further than that because there's so much in there for that. And then maybe the time after that we'll work with the wilderness. But yeah, I'm looking
It's a
forward.
lot of years there.
It's a lot of years.
It's 120.
a lot of years. But I'm looking forward to this last teaching and hooking this into the gospel. I'll do that this time too, in a profound kind of way to kind of set the stage for what's coming up. So we'll have a good group that comes on Wednesday night, and then a good group, I suspect, online, and people that watch at different times during the week. And that's one of the good things about doing it here in the chapel, that it is available for people
Right.
after that. I love to teach in the historic church, but if you miss it, you missed it. So
Perhaps that will change at some point, but right now,
right now,
Yeah.
it's just all set up here. And you know, to be able to redo the historic campus, to be able to stream from over there, is way more than getting a camera.
I know.
Way more. The lighting.
During your confirmation, the first night of confirmation class, we're in there and you're showing how everything has to blend in, which is hard when you're talking
yeah.
about, or hidden, has to blend
That's
in
right.
or be hidden.
It can't take away from the architecture according to the historical preservation guidelines.
So even the lighting.
So that, you know, to be able to do that, you'd have to change the whole electrical system coming in. There's not enough power to pick up lights. The additional cameras you'd have to have, all the technology that Alex is working with up there now. It would be a real
space is a premium too.
Oh yeah, be a real significant change. We'd have to move from the side back to the back, and that's smashed with the choir and all those activities back there. But anyway, we'll see what God has in mind for all that. But in the meantime, we're here. So, and this blesses people, and with all the, and the online, I'm not like many of the fellows. Their Gladco is over with, and they are through with online. They scrap that right away. But we've developed a real good following. Well, you have you started a Bible study last Friday, wasn't it?
Last Friday, and we had one lady was visiting her family for the first time in 3 or 4 years because of COVID in England.
Whoa.
So we went international. So Sonia was in England, Dallas, Houston, Connecticut, maybe a Florida in there too. So it was really interesting. And then I saw Nancy Scheider at the funeral this morning, and she said, I just want you to know that I plopped myself down in Magnolia Hall. I think that's in Sun City.
Yeah.
And I did my Bible study right there in Magnolia Hall. So you can do it anywhere, which is really nice.
In the world
a lot
we're
of
in
people
now,
traveling.
yeah, people travel. I mean, there's schedules are not predictable, even for the people, much less to find convenient times for folks to get together, to be able to pick it up anytime you want to and be involved in it wherever you are in the world. I think that's just a wonderful resource that God gives us.
We have a lady, and this is, a real gift to her, I feel like. She's homebound and cannot leave. So to think about all of the people that, for whatever reason and circumstance, they can't leave to go to church. They can't leave to go to Bible study, but we're able to be in community together, and which is a beautiful thing.
And that's, we're living in an age where the medical resources and all that are such that people are living way, way longer. Do you know?
Okay, this is going to be good.
Perhaps. Do you know what the average life expectancy was for a male in the time Jesus lived in Palestine?
60.
60. 29.
29.
29.
Whoa.
29.
29.
Yeah. It wasn't 60 when the United States was founded.
How about
29. Not many old people.
How about women? That probably wasn't calculated.
No, it might have been, but I didn't check it. I was looking at a sermon that I'm working on from Acts.
29.
29. And anyway, the passage I'm working on is when Peter and John are going into the temple, and the lame man is there, and they heal him. See, what people miss is that in the next chapter they tell the age of that man. He was 40. He was 40. And the question becomes, why did they heal him? He didn't have a future. He'd already outlived everybody around him and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I want to work with that. I think the sermon's going to be called the middle mile or the last mile or something. I don't know what, but something in there. But anyway, that idea that your ability to minister to others is not a function of age and never has been. That here's a guy that, for all intents and purposes, should have been dead. And we got people in a world of them, see, that are in their 60s and 70s and 80s here, which would be comparable to the guy who was back there in 40. And yet they sign off, and here in the name of the Lord, they heal this 40-year-old man so that he can be productive. And what does he do? He turns right around but gets in the ministry and starts witnessing. So, anyway, I'm aware there's a sermon there somewhere I'm working on, but it's just
kind of fits in with what you're talking about tomorrow night with calling and ministry.
Yep. Yeah, because Moses was 80. And that's, you know, it is amazing how you see exceptions to the rule all through the gospel, and the unexpected are the ones that the Lord uses. The unexpected. Moses was a washed-up fella, shepherd. You know, he'd been working for his grandfather or father-in-law for 40 years and still hadn't doesn't own his own sheep, doesn't have his own tent. You know, eating at his father-in-law's table. You know. But I'll work on that tomorrow night.
Calling and ministry. And he didn't want to do it.
Nope, didn't want to do it. And that resonates with some people here too, doesn't it? Yep, didn't want to do it. Didn't think he could do it. Didn't have confidence in himself. Come up with all kind of excuses. But I'll work on that tomorrow night.
Do you often meet with people who are in that place of, is God calling me to something else? And they come to you for discernment on?
Every now and then. Every now and then. But it's amazing that so many people think they can hear God's call clearly, and I'm just not sure about all that. I'm sure they're hearing a call, but a lot of times the voice that we hear is the inner voice coming from within ourselves, not the voices coming from the Lord. And I say that because it's stunning how many times people feel called to do what they really want to do, as opposed to what really needs to be done.
Which is usually very uncomfortable.
That's exactly right. People don't want to get in that place where they feel like they're risking anything. And commitment and convenience are two words that are colliding in our culture today, for all ages. But I think that's particularly true among people who are retired. This is my time. I want to be free to flit over here and flit over there and be like a butterfly dancing from whatever color flower attracts me, kind of thing. Without thinking about I have a role to pollinate. Oh, I like that. I should write that one down, Jen.
It's recorded, so we can go back.
Oh, that's a good one
That's
there.
a good one.
Yeah, a little analogy. I can use that again somewhere. Yes, sir.
But I think that's probably true. In a retirement community such as this, you think, I've already fulfilled my purpose. Now I'm retired.
And I use that prayer to start everything out, that I have not yet done that for which I've made. And I think that I've fulfilled my purpose. More often than not, your purpose is not to go from 8 to 5 for 40 years and sign off. You know, that's more times than not, that's a got to. And seldom is it what the Lord wants us to do. It's something we got to do to get by to the time when we can retire and do what we want to do. And then what we want to do, the last thing we want to do is be accountable to somebody else, other than
or be inconvenienced,
or other pickleball schedule, or you know, whatever people are fishing or whatever they're golfing, whatever they're doing. So, this time of year, you'll see a lot of people on the river out there fishing.
There were some boats that passed by.
Yep.
And when we were out there,
boats anchoring down there as they're making their way from north to south. Headed down, the latecomers, most of them have already moved south. And then they'll start moving north August, because hurricane season will be coming. And I did not know this until someone told me that if you're insuring a boat, they will not insure you below a certain latitude during the hurricane season. And so they heading above the latitudes out there. And now that I know that most of the really big yachts are not insured.
I guess the thought process is if you can afford a yacht, you can afford to replace it.
If you can afford a really big one, write it off, you know. I don't know how they work that, but they're not insured.
Because they wouldn't be easy to move.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
So
once
don't-
that's
I
in the
don't
water,
know.
it's in the water.
Yeah, I don't know how all that works, but anyway, I don't have a yacht, so I
No.
don't have to worry about all that.
You don't have to worry.
Don't have to worry about it. Yep. Your mama got some new hydrangeas planted yesterday.
Her yard is looking spiffy.
Yep, spiffy. And as she spiffs up, then she sees something else that needs to be spiffed, and so she got there's 2 sago palms out there now that
Got to go.
she's got her eye on it. They'll be in the way of the hydrangeas, and their time is limited. I think next week it'll be all over. So I try to stay on the move. I don't want them to be looking at me and say, you know, I don't know about you. Hydrangea would take your place pretty easy. So I got
And she's got some tomatoes coming in.
squash, tomatoes, cucumbers. You got a cucumber out there? Yes, sirree.
So
She's
you'll
got
have-
peppers.
you
She got
have
some
a
peppers in
couple
her
of-
box. In the
I saw the
that box
peppers.
out there.
Got a couple little buds on there.
farming coming out in there now.
But the Cherokee tomato plant is loaded, so it looks like you might have some tomato sandwiches in your
It's
future.
going to be. It is amazing to see how different. You got
Yeah, different varieties.
you
'Cause
got one of those. What is the thing? What is the name of it? It's a
it's an heirloom tomato.
heirloom.
Is
Yeah.
the Cherokee.
You got an heirloom tomato bush next to a regular tomato
Right.
bush, and they're developing very differently, even though they're both tomatoes. I'm looking forward to that. But your mom's all fired about. And she's fired up about going to the beach and summertime coming and grandchildren and all the rest of that. You know, praise
Speaking
God.
of, you had your first grandchild graduate from college this week.
This few days ago.
Yeah.
And she starts her first real job.
Yesterday. She
Yesterday.
started her first real job yesterday. Although she's been working for him for a while, but
Intern.
officially.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's excited about that. Praise God. So the children becoming adults. Really are. Praise God. And we have lots of people coming to worship services and wanting to join and all that. I've got 15 bags of office up there now.
That you're going to meet with this week and next week?
Over the next 2 or 3 weeks, yeah. But I do the bag after the appointment is made. So there's already that many
So
appointments.
if you
of
don't
people
know
wanting
what
to
he's
join the
talking
church.
about, what a bag is, we have Church of the Cross, kind of the reusable grocery tote bag, and it's a Bible for the man. If it's a couple,
Study Bible for the men.
of the women get a
Study Bible.
study Bible. What else? Their
Box-
information sheet, envelopes, for giving,
name tags, pocket cross for the
pocket
men,
cross, and a pen for the women.
Cross pen for the women. So get them on. And that just opportunities. The Bibles are in there. We emphasize Bible study. That's big, and those are ESV Bibles and they're study Bibles. So there's all kind of notes in there for folks. Gave one to a man. Last week they joined, and he's in his 70s. He said, "This is the first Bible I've ever had."
Oh my goodness.
First Bible I've ever had.
I talked about that in our Bible study on Friday, that we're going through the book of Revelation, but just the fact that was a scroll that was to be read aloud. That's the first blessing in there to those that read it, hear it, and keep it. But just think about that for a minute. We all have our own copy.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how many Bibles I own.
Oh.
But just not to take that for granted. Mm-hmm. Like, that's precious. And so that's really a beautiful thing.
First Bible he ever had. And and he's not from a foreign country or anything. He's raised right here in the United States. So it blessed him. And that's what it's about, and the fellowship, being a part of it. And there, we still have many people who come and worship, and they skip and dip and whatever. And I'm always grateful when they come to worship, grateful if they show up in a Bible study or teaching that I'm doing, something like that. And then when the time comes and they want to join, then they're welcome to join, but you haven't got to. And we got river baptism coming up too. That's
It's early this year. So last year we did it in September, and it's all based on the tide because you don't want to go out there and it's up to your neck.
Yeah.
June 26th at 4:30 is a Sunday afternoon.
Sunday afternoon.
So it won't be as hot as
Baptism
August.
and recommitment.
Baptism and recommitment.
So if you've been baptized before when you were a child or something and just it didn't take, or you didn't know what was going on, and now you do, now's a great time to come on. You only get baptized once, but you can do a recommitment. And so we do those in the river. We have whole families that some are being baptized in the family, some are recommitting, but they're doing it together as a family. That's wonderful. And if you're not participating in it, you can still come and sing and support the folks who are. Real special. 4:30 Sunday afternoon.
June 26th.
June 26th. Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful.
So that'll be here before we know it, actually.
Yeah, because the date's middle of May. Yeah. So what else you got going?
Just trying to catch up on being out of town for a little bit and getting ready to go give some neck hugs to some coworkers I haven't seen.
Mm-hmm. You cooking any?
I made dinner last night.
You did?
I did. You wouldn't have eaten it. You might have, I don't know. It was firecracker meatballs with an Asian sauce and rice and green beans.
And you got a recipe for it and put on?
I'm doing this thing since the kids have left the house where a box of food, recipes, and ingredients comes to my door. It's called Hello Fresh. Yes, it's wonderful for just two people. So now that Drew's home,
Well,
I have doubled up.
You select what you get? So it comes and it's the ingredients?
Everything you need.
And
It's
the recipe
fabulous.
and all that?
Everything. You don't have to go to the grocery store. Some people like going to the grocery store. I am not one of them. I went to Publix yesterday, and first time I'd been in Publix for a couple of weeks. I would go to pick up an item. I'd look at the price tag. I backed away. It's crazy. The prices have gone up on everything, a tremendous, tremendous amount. So this is
And that's not
convenient,
just-
and I
that's
don't
not
have to
just
see
Publix,
the
that would be
prices.
everywhere.
No, it's everywhere. I just happen to be at Publix.
I think
but-
Publix is the one your mother likes. She likes the ones that she knows right where everything is. But the big thing, her big thing, she walks in the door, if it isn't clean, she's out of there.
Well, yeah, if you're buying food,
She's out of there if it isn't clean.
that is important. Yes.
And then after that, she wants a wide aisle, so she's not smashed. And she wants consistency in where things are placed.
Yes.
And she wants the things that she is after low enough that she can reach it. Things on the high shelf, she can't get there. So she's looking. So if your store happens to meet those criteria, then you got a shot.
You've
But
got
if
a
it doesn't-
loyal customer.
That's right. But if it doesn't, she'll pray for you, but she's going somewhere else. So, going somewhere else. Yeah.
All right. Well, last parting thought before you go back to working on your teaching tomorrow night.
That's what my thoughts are about today, is teaching tomorrow night. Prepping that. We've got you worked on the PowerPoint, Alex has worked on the PowerPoint, so it's ready to go. And now I got to work on getting it in my head to the point that I can do something decent and presenting it and look forward to that. I like to teach.
All right. So we'll see you online at 7 p.m. here or in person.
Or in person.
From the chapel tomorrow. By Faith Moses.
Yep. And if they miss it, where do you find it on the webpage?
On the homepage of the website, it's on the media tab. That's where you're going to find any service, teaching that we have done is cataloged there. Also, for Historic Campus, we've got sermon audio. So sometimes, like the Easter services from the Historic Campus weren't streamed here, but we have the audio to share for that.
Yeah.
And that's where sermon notes are as well.
That's right. Okay.
All right, well, we'll see you
Tomorrow night.
tomorrow night, 7 p.m.
in
Last
person
teaching.
or online.
And this is the last Wednesday night until we start up the program in July.
That's right.
So we'll have the month of June with no Wednesday nights.
Yep.
But then we're picking up and we're kicking off for everybody.
Yep, we'll get, new folks be coming in to expand the team for expanded ministry and picking up in August. Really, and particularly, and excited about all we're going to be doing across schools and the focus that Nathan's team is going to be doing over there. That's wonderful.
We'll have to have a faith formation ponderings with all of them here
That's a
to
good idea.
introduce.
That's a good idea.
Just an amazing group, really is an amazing team.
Yep.
Really excited about.
Yep, that's wonderful.
All
All right,
right.
Sunshine.
Well, go in peace to love and serve the Lord.
Thanks
be to God.
See you when I see you. God's peace and blessings. Know that God loves you, and so do I.